Hello. Hi, Marke. Hi, Hero. Welcome, welcome. How are you guys doing? Have you been doing any modding yourself, Hero? I mean, I know you have read a lot of the code, but have you tried to make your own modules? So I just want to let you guys know that I took like 3 shots of vodka before starting the stream. So this is going to be either the greatest programming stream ever or the worst. Not that I'm like advising anyone to drink alcoholic beverages, but there was like family, like gathering type of stuff. So, but I still wanted to continue this modding series today. I want to get to actual programming, because like just editing some XML not very interesting. Just adding some items. So the 3rd episode is going to be mission behavior: consuming beer during a battle, which will behave as a HP potion. You have a good idea for mod, Eero? That sounds interesting. Like, I'm happy for you because like this game could use a lot more good mods. And I'm sure there will be a lot more good mods in the future. I mean, we already have Banner Kings, which is really exciting, right? Hi, Anthony. Welcome, welcome. So, what do you mean, Hero? I'm not sure I follow. Where do you learn how to do modding? Here? I don't know. So, I mean, I've been programming for 16 years, 15 years, something like that. So, like, you have sort of understanding how software works, and we have great reverse engineering tools with DNSpy. So you can just go read how the game works. It's that simple, right? That's for Bannerlord, there is very little documentation. The official documentation, it is there. It explains some of the things about the modding kit. Like for modding kit, there is decent documentation, maybe somewhat decent, but it's only like small fracture of what you actually need to know. So I think once this tutorial series is done, this will actually be the best resource for learning Bannerlord modding specifically. Other than that, the best way to learn how to do better mods, it is just becoming a better programmer. That's kind of the reality of the situation. The better programmer you are, the better mods you can make. For example, if you look at Block, the guy who makes all those crazy mods, I mean, just from his amount of outputs, you can deduce that he has to be a pretty good programmer. So, are we ready to start? Like, at the moment, there is no resources for even half of the stuff I have listed here. Well, the last few are not really. Like, there's maybe some documentation for localization. There is good documentation for saving the game. The official, like, some of these are documented. There is also documentation for this, but I will provide much better, much more working documentation for adding sound effects. There's basically no documentation for any of this stuff. Yeah, so at least that I've been able to find, and I've looked at a lot of places, so there is definitely no good documentation for this stuff or this stuff. So yeah, Harmony, there is tutorials for other games, like you can find good Harmony tutorials for RimWorld, but there's less good, like there's nothing Bannerlord specific. Not that it necessarily needs to be Bannerlord specific, because Harmony is very general tool. But still, it will be nice to have, like, if I can make decent Harmony tutorial, it will be nice to have it in the same place with all the other necessary skills you need for Bannerlord modding. And like, it will not be that scary, I don't think. I think we will manage very well with this stuff. Mission behaviors. This will be, so today we will start with mission behaviors. The order is kind of wrong here. Like I wish I could do campaign behavior first, but just the way things will work out, doing the campaign behavior will require there's some annoying prerequisites. So if I want to get into programming, we'll have to do the mission behavior first, but it's good because it is kind of a self-contained thing. So we can just do this mission behavior as like one-shot programming exercise, and then we can move to other things. Okay, so are we ready to start? Let me check my notifications. I guess it's just nothing important. Right. I think we are ready to start the actual segment and do the mission behavior. Let me pause the music. I will take off my headphones. I don't like, I mean, it's fine to wear them, but I think it will be a bit more natural to go without them. So, right. Right. Let me check that I don't have anything annoying here that I don't want included in the YouTube video. I think everything looks fine. Okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the episode 3 of my Artisan beer modding series. And this will be the first part where we get into actual programming. So this will be kind of exciting, I think. And we will do the mission behavior. So last time we added the new item, the Artisan beer item. And this time we want to make it so that it functions as a HP potion, or like it will give you some health when you press certain key in combat. And it will consume one of the items and like that. So we will need to add, to affect how the game functions during combat, we will need to add a mission behavior. And my code will be kind of straightforward, as simple as possible, just doing the thing that needs to be done. Like, there are lots of schools of programming where you think about things in like some specific manner. For example, object-oriented programming, it has some like it has whole philosophy behind it of like encapsulation and stuff like that. I don't care about any of that. I just want to write the thing that works. And if it works, then it's perfect. So I will try to do the simplest possible thing that works. But of course, since we are working within existing code base, in this case, the Bannerlord game code base, there are some things that we must do. Like, the game expects us to do certain things in a certain way, so we must follow that pattern, what they have established. And that is fine. Like, that is actual programming, that is actual engineering. You have a real world. In this game, the real world contains the base game, and you have to make your program comply to the constraints set by the real world. So we will try to do the simplest possible thing that works within the constraints set by the game and set by the requirements of our mod. So So the very first thing that we are given is this submodule base. So this is where the game will first call us when we make a new mod. And we cannot change that. But this is actually great for us because it gives, so if I control click the submodule base, this is called like subclassing. It's like object-oriented programming concept. So we get this submodule which inherits submodule base. And if we control click, I hold control and click, Visual Studio will show me everything contained here in this. It is called parent class. And we can override any of these things here listed as virtual. And this is just something that you sort of have to know, but we are looking to affect how the game behaves inside a mission. So a mission is anytime the game goes into this sort of 3D view where you have your character and you move around. So town is a mission, village scene is a mission, battles are missions, hideouts, and what's it called? Like prison breaks, all that stuff. Those are called missions. So when the game goes into the 3D view, that is not the map, you are most likely in a mission. And we want to add behavior to this mission. So what we want to override here will be this on mission behavior initialize. And this will give us the opportunity to extend the mission with our behavior. That is exactly what we want to do. So the way this will work is that we will override this virtual on mission behavior initialize. And by overriding it, that means that we will sort of be able to rewrite the behavior of this method for our subclass. That might not make sense unless you are familiar with the jargon, but basically all it means is that the game will call this method when it is time to initialize mission behaviors. So on mission behavior initialize, very clear words. So when it is time to initialize mission behaviors, this method will be called by the game. Okay, and we can leave this. So what I did here was just write override and mission, and Visual Studio will give me these options, and I want the one without the before because the before is something that happens too early, kind of. So this is where it is just the correct time to initialize the mission behaviors. So this is, and here we get mission object from the game, which is the one that is being initialized, and we can add behavior. Okay, but now we need to figure out what do we want to add, right? And what we want to add is our own. So this will be Artisan beer mission behavior, right? We want to make our own mission behavior, and we need to also, because the game expects here when we add a mission behavior. Let's see, where did it go? Here, add mission behavior. The game expects us to give it a mission behavior. So we also need to, so we could supply it with something that inherits from mission behavior. That is actually not exactly what we want in here in this case. I will explain this maybe better later, but right now, I will just say that there are two types of mission behaviors. Realistically, the game uses just mission views, which are things that add like visible elements such as your HP or the scoreboard or something like that. So there are mission views, which are subtype of mission behavior. So mission views are mission behaviors, and there are mission logics. And mission logics are things like spawning agents, so spawning things, handling reinforcements, handling routing, or if the battle is over and stuff like that. So mission logic is something that manages the state of the mission in some way. And mission view is something that either shows something to the player, has some UI element, or handles input in some way. And so there are actually no pure mission behaviors in the game. So although we could inherit from mission behavior, since we are going to want to have something that listens to key press, so we want to have something that uses HP potion when we press a certain key, we actually want mission view because that will handle the input for us. And here I will press Ctrl and dot to get this list of suggestions. So whenever we type something new, we have to input more using statements into our code. So I just press Ctrl and dot to bring up this menu where I can choose that, yes, I indeed want you to add this this using statement. So the using statements are just some C# thing where things are limited in where you can see them from, and we bring more stuff into the vision of the program by just adding more using statements. And I will very liberally just add whatever the compiler wants me to add. So now that we have our mission view, we can actually add that as our mission behavior. So Artisan view mission behavior. We will create new object of this type of view, and that is what we will add as our mission behavior to the mission that is currently being initialized. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So we get from the game, when it is just the right time to initialize missions, we get the mission object and we can add behavior to it. And this line, we don't really need this, but it's just it just means that we are being a good citizen, and we also call the base class on mission behavior initialize. But yeah, it's some object-oriented thing, and you can keep it. The compiler or the thing that suggests you code gives you that, so let's just keep it there. It means that it will call the base class implementation of this method, which we are overriding. So when we override things, it is usually proper to also call the base class implementation. Not always, but it's being a good citizen, I guess. So now that we have our own mission behavior or mission view, I guess we can call this mission view. Maybe that is more accurate. We can again press Ctrl and click on the mission view to see what sort of things we can do as a mission view. So in this case, I'm thinking that we want to just find a tick in here. So the tick in here is on mission screen tick. So what tick is basically a frame. So you can think of tick as just synonymous thing for a frame. So every frame, the game will call our tick function, tick methods. So if we look at submodule base, so this submodule base is the very beginning of our submodule. So here we have some tick, right? Here we have on application tick, which is like all the time on every frame. And in our mission view, we have on mission screen tick, which is just tick inside a mission. It's basically the same thing, but they have different names for the ticks in different places. For example, if we inherited from mission behavior, mission behavior would have it all on its own tick, on pre-mission tick, on mission tick. It doesn't. The names are different, but they will be called at slightly different times. For the most part, almost everything will have its own tick, and it will just mean a frame called on every frame. And what we want to happen on every frame, and again we can write override and tick, and it will actually suggest us the ticks from the mission view and also the ticks from the behavior, since mission view is a behavior. And we can just take the most recent one from the mission view, from the direct parent class. So when we get here, we want to start listening to input. And very conveniently, we have this input object from mission view. Is key pressed? Is game key? Is key pressed? So the mission view is also nice enough to give us input context. And at this point, you don't really need to understand what this means. Later on, we can go into like endless rabbit holes of reverse engineering the game to figure out what is input context and why does it matter that this input context comes to us from the mission screen. Well, it comes to us from the mission screen because that is the active screen when we are inside a mission. But for the most part, we can just type away, and if it works, it is perfect, right? And is the input key pressed? You can hover this, and it will tell you that it returns a boolean, and that means that it is true when this key is pressed. So we can just wrap this into an if statement, and since this function on mission screen tick, it will be called every frame. If we on every frame listen to is key pressed, that will give us way to handle input correctly. So if we just look at the suggestions for this, it will suggest us this Tailworld's input system input keys, and I want this to be bound to letter Q, or the key Q on the keyboard, which is just next to our movement keys, and it is convenient, and it's not mapped to anything by default, I don't think. So we can just on every frame check if Q is pressed. And there's also different versions of this. So input dot is key down. So in key down, if you hold the key for multiple frames, that would be true for the whole duration. And there's also key released, which is true only on the frame when it's let go. So key pressed is the one that you usually want. So on the frame that key pressed, this will be only true for one frame. So we can do stuff inside this thing and it will behave correctly for the most part. But this is the most common one that you want. So we want to, on this frame, we want to drink beer, right? And there is no such thing as drink beer as of yet. So when I come here and I press again Control dot, or you could press the light bulb here, it will suggest that you generate method drink beer. So let's just press there and let the editor Visual Studio create this method for us. So what do we want to happen when we drink beer? So one thing that we want to happen is we want to remove one, or first of all, we need to check the inventory that you have one. So check you actually have one. Right? Then we want to remove one. If that check is successful, we want to remove one beer, right? And then we want to increase our main character HP, right? These are the steps that we want to do when the drink beer action happens. So we can do this one at a time, and it will be less complicated than if we just say that we do everything as a one complete thing, right? So to get the inventory, this is again something that I happen to know, but eventually you will learn enough reverse engineering that you could figure this out by yourself. I just happen to know that the best way to get to the party of your main character is to write mobile party main party. So this is something that is called static property, I guess, in C#, but basically static variable. And this is just something that immediately when you, or like wherever you are in campaign, if you are in campaign, this will give you the current correct main party for your currently ongoing campaign. So when you load a game, the campaign will change and stuff like that. So mobile party.main party is just a static global variable that will give you the correct current campaign main party. And it will have an item roster. An item roster is just a list of all the items for that party, and every party will have its own item roster, but we are of course interested in the main party item roster. And we can take this into a variable. And item roster, we can just ask, so get item number. The wording here is maybe not the best, but get item number is actually the thing that will give us the amount of certain item you have. Okay, so if we, let's just again control click this, and we can go look at the thing in a different view, and we can see that it wants an item object. How do we get an item object, and what is an item object? So anytime there is something object, that is basically something that comes from the XML files. So you have culture object, you have item object, you have character object. All those things are, it's just a naming convention that Tailworlds has, and all those things are things that are loaded from the XMLs. So item object is exactly what we added here when we loaded this items XML file. So loaded items are items loaded from the XML are item objects. And the way you access any item object is through MB manager something object manager. I need to first time you have to actually type it correctly, because the auto competition doesn't can't help you when it's not in the name, when you haven't when you don't have the correct using statements yet. So when I first time I write it correctly, and then I press Control dot to include the correct using statement. Now the thing is in the scope, in the view of Visual Studio, and the auto competition will be a lot nicer. But first time you have to actually remember how to type it correctly. So instance, and then we want to get object. And the item type will be item object. So again, this thing wants item objects. It wants, so the get item number wants an item object. We have defined our item object in here. This is our item object, the Artisan beer object. And we just have to ask the object manager to give us the Artisan beer. And the item object is also not included yet, so we need some more. We need some more using statements, but Visual Studio is happy enough to give us them if we just ask nicely. And this item object is already loaded into the game at the very beginning. Since we, in the submodule, we defined here we told the game to load these XMLs, or this specific XML. So the item object is already loaded when we start the game. So nothing too surprising there. So now we can ask the item roster for the amount of Artisan beer object that we have in our inventory. So now we ask if we have more than 0, or actually, yeah, let's do this the other way around. So if we have 0 or less, I don't know, you cannot have less, but whatever, we would just return. And return means exit the current method. So there are two ways to write this. Either you could do positive condition and then write everything you do in an if statement after that, or you can write sort of negative condition, which is the reverse or the opposite. And then if the negative condition is true, you just return. And return means exit the method. So now that we have confirmed that we have positive amount of beer, this part of the function, this part of the method is only reached if we have positive amount of beer in our main party inventory. We can remove one of those. So let's, there's add to counts, and this also can take the artisan beer object, and then it wants number, and in this case the number will be -1, meaning remove 1 beer, right? Very straightforward. And add to counts is a method of the item roster. The item roster, again, is just, why cannot I go in here? So the item roster is just the thing that holds all the items for this party. So this party has member roster, it has prisoners, and it has items and a bunch of other stuff, but we don't care about that yet, or never. Maybe at some point you will care about that. So we remove 1 beer, and after that, everything that is left to do is to increase the main character HP. And the way you do this is we actually go to mission. So we have access to mission here inside mission view just through the parent class hierarchy. So we inherit from mission behaviors, so we have access to this mission behaviors mission. So, and mission has something called main agent, and main agent is your avatar inside. Main agent is your avatar in this mission. And the main agent will have health. And actually the main health will also have health limits. And we need to care about that. But we can just say that since we removed 1 beer from the inventory, we are now good to go to increase the health by 20. And then we can do a global, we can write something. So the best way to write anything or write like debug messages is through information manager. So display messages, and this is a bit annoying. You have to create new information message because the display message wants an information message. So we make new information message, and this will be just anything. So we healed well, I kind of want to, so if I was doing, so this is fine message, right? You can put any string here. Actually, what I want to do is use string format. So string format is something that, how to explain this? String format is thing that you can give format strings to. Oops. So the format strings that the string format wants are things where you have these parameters. So you can have parameters 1, 2, 3 like this. And I think it starts from 0 actually. So you can, and on top of giving it parameters, you will give it objects. So you see here, string format wants a format, and then any object that can be put into the place of this this argument here. So we can give it just mission main agent health like this. It wants 1 more parenthesis. Okay, so now we have this format where we give it the mission main agent health, and it will put it here inside this format specifying string, and wrap the whole thing as an information message and display it. Okay, so now now on every frame we check if input key Q is pressed, and if it is pressed, then we just drink beer. And I don't think it could be any, well, okay, there is one way this could be simpler than this, and it would be we took all this out and moved it here, and we didn't have the method at all, but I think this is a fair level of simplicity. We do exactly what we need to do and nothing more. Now, if we press F5, it will launch our project, it will compile, move the files to the game folder, game modules folder, and it will launch Bannerlord with our module. Okay. Now we can go to any mission. My internet is very bad at the moment. Hold on a second. Why is my internet so bad today? Apologies for that, but hopefully it will be better at some point. And there's no... Well, we can now press Q. See that we healed to 120. We healed to 140. We healed to 160. So you see there is a small problem with this, which is that 160 is more HP than my maximum HP. So actually we need to add something more here. We need to add a check that we don't overheal. We don't go over the maximum health. And also I keep pressing it, but we no longer heal. So we had 10 of Artisan beer in our inventory, and you can see that now we have none left. So that is working correctly. We are losing 1 Artisan beer every time I try to heal. Okay, very good. But we need to fix this issue. We need to fix this issue with us going over our maximum HP. So in here, if mission main agent, let's just extract this into main agent, right? Make us type a bit less. So there's something about health limits. I think this is right. So if our health is larger than health limits, then our health... Oh, this is actually... Oh, let's just say this is fine for us for now. There might be a slight issue with this, which is that if the setter of this property does something that we don't want to happen multiple times, this might be problematic. You don't need to worry about that. I don't think if you are new, that's not a big concern for you at all. Just something that might not be the correct behavior in all cases if we set the health here to some value and then immediately reset it, but it's fine honestly. So let's, instead of writing our current health, I would prefer if we wrote how much we healed. So to write how much we healed, I should actually store health, and then we should display that here. So we want to write current health minus old health. That will give us since we stored the old health before we did anything, that will give us the amount we healed. Okay, so we can try to run this again. And this time we should have fixed our ability to go over the maximum amount of health, and we should get just the amount we healed instead of the current health. What's up, hero? Is it about the stream going down? I don't know why my internet is so bad at the moment. Well, actually I have a pretty good idea, but it is not something that I can control, unfortunately. Yeah, my internet is really bad at the moment. Well, anyway, you will have the YouTube episodes later on anyway, so... But I would hope that it would be a bit better. The stream experience would be a bit less awful, but it is what it is. Hi, Francis. Maybe it will be stable at some points. Okay, so now we can try this again. Yeah, I see on my OBS that it is pretty bad at the moment. So, but it will be better at some points, hopefully. I need to decrease the bitrate as well. Okay, so now we can try this again. We can come to the tavern, and you see we heal for 0. So this is actually the correct behavior, because we are not missing any HP, so we cannot heal. So let's try to get damaged, just so that we can test this. Hopefully I can get the YouTube episode out tomorrow, so you will have a less laggy experience. Maybe. I have a local recording anyway. Okay, so now I managed to take some damage. And pressing Q is not doing anything. Why is that? Oh, am I out? I'm out. Oh, I'm out of beers. Okay. You should add an item to remove HP. Yeah, sure. So I was out of artisan beer, so it was behaving correctly. So now I need to go back to my cheat inventory to add some more of this item. Okay. Now I can attack again. Yes, I used all of them up. So now I can heal again, and then you can see that I heal for 20, I heal for 20, and I heal for 8. Okay, so that's working correctly. So one thing we could add to this is we could add condition that you can only use this in certain types of missions. So I might add one more condition here. So if mission mode is something, then we don't let you drink beer. So if we look at mission modes, this is just some mission mode is, well, let's just look at it. So mission mode can be startup, conversation, battle, duel, stealth, harder, so deep tournament, cutscene. So you get sort of idea what mission modes are. Deployment is particularly familiar to me since the RTS camera mod I made was basically just about tricking the game into thinking it is in deployment mode. So deployment mode is when you are in the order of battle view. So I would say it would make sense to have the item being usable in battles and in stealth. So stealth is prison breaks, effectively. So these are the ones that make the most sense to me. So let's just add one more thing here, which is mission mode requirement that mission mode is battle, mission mode battle, or stealth. And actually I want to reverse this again. So this is the sort of positive condition, which is true. Which is true when I want this to be usable. So I could wrap the whole thing inside an if statement, or I can turn this into a negative condition. Tournaments for cheating, sure, maybe. I can turn this into negative statement with this or not statement, and then we can just return immediately if this condition is not true. Thanks, Krish. Welcome to our membership program, the scholars or something, or economists, I guess. So now if we restart the game with this new condition, we should no longer be able to heal inside taverns, for example, inside keeps. I don't know, maybe you don't want that condition. Maybe you want to be able to heal everywhere. Maybe you want to heal in tournaments like Hero does. But later on, when we add the UI, so we will add display for that shows you how many of this item you have. Then it will be also better to show the UI only when you are in combat. Actually, I think at least it's kind of weird if you are walking around in the town center and you have this UI showing how many healing items you have. Although you actually have this HP bar here anyway, so maybe it's not so weird in Bannerlord. So now I'm pressing the healing button and nothing happens. So presumably that is the correct behavior. I go to battle. And now I can use the mow up. Okay. So I think this is working now. Artisan beer is now somewhat useful item that does something at least. So I think this is a mission completed. And we have basically everything we need to have, right? So I think that is everything for the episode 3. And in the next episode, let me just check. In the next episode, we will be loading custom model for the Artisan beer. We will be loading custom model so that it's not so boring and samey with the beer. So stay tuned for that. And I hope to see you again in this video. Thank you so much for watching. And that is the YouTube portion done. And now all that is left is to apologize again for the bad stream quality. Thank you so much, Krish. Thank you. I will try to make this series the best it can be. And I think over time I will do the programming a bit faster and faster, but in the very beginning at least I want to explain everything in as much detail as I can so that it is as approachable for people new to programming as possible. Will you create the next custom model? Create the custom model, or will it be ready when the next tutorial comes up? I will get the model from the internets. So I will get the model from Blend Swap. I actually already know what it will be. So we will go here to Blend Swap. I will search for beer. And this is not perfect. So I will go into Blender and fix some things. So we come to Blend Swap, we search for beer, and we get medieval beer mugs. And I will use this so that we don't need to do the complete modeling. But I will fix some things about this. Like this is not ready for importing into Bannerlord. But I might do it right now, or maybe I will continue and do it now. Let's see. Although I'm kind of annoyed by my internet being so bad at the moment, but what will be the upload schedule? So I have 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes, I edited them up today. Before I started the stream, they were processing, and I think they are done now. So yes, they are both done now. So part of the upload schedule is that I set these both videos to public right now. So the episodes 1 and 2 are now public. And another part of the upload schedule is that as soon as I'm done with this episode, or this stream, I will start editing the episode 3, which we just recorded right now, and then I will try to upload it as fast as possible, and we will go from there. So basically, as soon as I can edit the episodes and then upload them and YouTube can process them, I will upload them as soon as they are ready. It is kind of ridiculous. My internet, my actual upload speed at the moment is like 1/10 of what it's supposed to be. If you're being generous, it is 1/5 of what it's supposed to be. So there is that. I think I have to stop here. Unfortunately, my internet is just absolute garbage at the moment. At least we got to actual programming, and I think tomorrow I can do the Blender portion. So next episode will be pretty much the only part where we will touch Blender. I'm on Comcast too. No, actually, I'm not on Comcast. My internet is usually very good, but there is a situation right now. So there are like some extra people living in this house. So like by extra people, I mean like 9 extra people, or actually more, 11 extra people. So the internet at the moment is being divided for 12 people. So my usually very good internet might be used up. Yeah. I have to figure out some time of the day when less people are using up the bandwidth. And also I should be getting a faster internet anyway soon. I guess it hasn't happened yet. Actually, I guess this is a bad idea doing streaming. Yeah, this is a bad idea. Whatever. Do I control the router? Yes. Yes. I have a direct fiber link connection, like directly to the operator, so it is usually fairly consistent or very predictable. But I think it's just the other people in the house using up the bandwidth. I think that is what is happening. Could go to them and be like, "Oh, you are using too much bandwidth and I'm trying to do my thing," but to be honest, that would be kind of rude. Yeah, I could I could set up a thing where I get all the bandwidth, but so what is happening with my IPS is that they used to have, so I have right now I have like 500 connection, and they promised that before the end of next month it will become symmetric, so 500. So when I get 400 more up bandwidth, I think there will be more than enough for everyone. But right now I'm still on 500 plan. Restrict them until you're done. Maybe. We'll see how things continue to develop. Okay, but I think this episode will be fairly easy to edit. Pretty happy with the recording. At least I don't think there were any major mistakes. The one thing I can do is let's just commit this. So episode 3 mission behavior. So HP portion And I don't know if I should include any Git stuff in the tutorial. I don't think I should. I mean, in the episode 2, I will quickly show that I push this stuff into Git, but I don't want this to be a Git tutorial. Honestly, Git tutorials are not very interesting to me. I don't know if you have any other opinions about, or if you're like Git fanboy or care so much about DevOps or stuff, but I think I just want to have the GitHub and be done with it. Let's see. So I just keep pushing my stuff here to Artisan beer, and we will have basically one commit per episode. What is annoying about this is that in the Visual Studio Git, which is great by the way, I think the Visual Studio Git experience it's pretty good at the moment. There is one annoying thing, which is that there is no checkout. Nowhere in this UI is there option for them, like basically the most fundamental Git operation of checkout. Nowhere. There is. What is this? What? Am I completely out of my mind? Is this new? I checked this I swear I checked this last week. And I found Stack Overflow posts saying that there is no way to check out in Visual Studio. Now it's here. Well, nice. Congratulations, Visual Studio Git team. You have now added checkout functionality to Visual Studio Git, and now it's basically perfect. Perfect. Do not show again. Yes. Okay, so now I have no issues with this. So now this is okay. I guess I updated my Visual Studio today for the tutorials. So nice. Nice. Okay. So now you can actually just come here and use this UI to select whatever episode you want to go to, and this will work just fine. So maybe I will actually show this so you don't. Okay, good to know. Well, I mean, Git. Yeah. So Krish was saying this Git is super easy to learn from documentations. Well, so Git is very good and useful and simple as long as you only use those 3 commands. And as soon as you go into the rabbit hole of actually learning all the complicated stuff, then Git becomes kind of nightmare. And honestly, Mercurial is a lot nicer than Git. Like Mercurial the UI is much nicer. It presents the complicated features with much nicer user experience compared to Git. But I don't have any issues with Git. And as long as you do only the basic operations, Git is perfectly functional, right? No issues with Git. And the Visual Studio UI it's fine, just for the basic operations that you actually want to do. It behaves perfectly. So I have 0 problems with this. But for example, at my last job, we used Mercurial and it was a lot nicer than Git. Like a lot easier to learn and a lot harder to shoot yourself in foot than Git. Git is very easy to get into really weird detached head states. And with Git, I think pretty often you need to go to, what's the term of the ref list? It's probably not called ref list. What is it? Ref something? Ref log, right? I find that with Git, fairly often you need to actually go into reflog world, which is kind of not ideal. Hashref. What is hashref? I don't know. Honestly. And also I think they should make a version of Git where they have removed all the email functionality. like there should be two versions of Git. Git for the kernel people with all the email functionality, and Git without the email stuff for normal people working on projects that are not the Linux kernel. So like all the Linux kernel specific stuff is like seeping into the general public UI. It's kind of iffy in my opinion. Hashref. I think it's reflog, right? Reflog is like so reflog is like the true list of all the references. So whereas something like gitlog will only give you like the descendants of your current head. Reflog will give you all the whole past history of all the like states in the order of their appearance. So if you are in weird detached head situation, you can always find your historical head in your reflog, and you can use it to save a lot of dicey situations. So if you're ref, is it called ref? I have no idea about the terminology. If your ref is sort of lost into void, you can use reflog to salvage it, basically. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will edit the third episode and put it to uploading or upload it, and it should be done in the morning, and I can set it to public, and then hopefully I can continue to record more episodes tomorrow. I should be able to. It's Saturday and stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day or evening or whatever, wherever you are.